So today I'm joined by Jeremy Barwick. Jeremy is the owner of TRB Talent, and TRB Talent helps businesses recruit the best talent. So hi, Jeremy.
Hi, nice to meet you, Simon.
Yeah, good to meet you as well. Thanks for joining us today. So, Jeremy, tell us a bit more about TRB Talent.
Okay, well, TRB Talent is a sort of niche recruitment agency. We specialize in sales, marketing, and customer service roles. We work in all vertical sectors, but just specializing in those areas. The reason being, I have 30 years of business experience working in sales, marketing, and customer services, and having that background, real life experience, I think that gives me the qualifications and understanding of the business world to be able to find the right people for roles.
Fantastic, like it. Okay, and tell us a bit about how TRB Talent came about. When did you decide to start up your own business?
Okay, well, it's interesting. I was always scared of starting my own business. I've always worked for people, and then right at the beginning of COVID, and due to Brexit, I was working for a French company. I was running their UK arm, which business model was a distribution coming out of northern France. So Brexit scared them, and in COVID, at that point, they decided that the UK arm was going to close down. So me and 30 people, I was running the UK arm. I was the country manager. We were all made redundant. Obviously, trying to find another job at the outset of COVID in 2020 was pretty unrealistic. So I thought, well, maybe this is the time to do something yourself. And having used recruitment companies for the best part of 30 years, I realized I could do it better. There was a lot of things that I found very frustrating about the recruitment agencies and the recruitment business. And I put together my business model in terms of how I would differentiate myself. And the recruitment bureau, TRB Talent, was started.
Right. Okay. And you mentioned there, which is a great thing, that you decided how you're going to differentiate yourself from. So how do you differentiate yourself, your TRB Talent, from other recruitment
Okay, well, having a specialism is the first area. I only recruit for sales, marketing, customer services, and I guess the differentiation is I have real life experience in sales, managing sales team, being a sales director, managing call centers, all different types of sales, and managing marketing teams as well. So I thought, my real life experience, as opposed to a graduate trainee within a larger recruitment agency, is going to offer me a distinct advantage when talking to a business and understanding exactly what they're looking for. Another frustration, I guess, within the recruitment industry is I felt was the business model of signing them up, paying your fee and walking off. So I differentiate myself, but I offer a 12-month rebate and replacement guarantee for every single placement I do. So I'm putting my faith and my belief in the candidates I'm putting forward with that policy attached. So if anybody leaves or within the first 12 months, there's a rebate and replacement policy there in position. Doesn't happen very often, but obviously it does for many reasons. And that's part of my guarantee, which differentiates me from 95% of the industry, and it attracts a lot of customers. My most recent new customer, when he saw that, he said, "Right, I've stopped using recruitment agencies because I've had recruitment agencies placing people, and then 3 months later phoned him up and saying I've got another job." Absolutely outrageous behaviour. And obviously putting that rebate and replacement, I wouldn't dream of doing that anyway, but that is something that made him start using recruitment agencies again.
Yeah. Okay. So I picked up two things there that you said. So one was because you've been there, you've been in sales and marketing and customer services, you understand your clients' needs, what it is that, when I say your client, the people that you're recruiting for, you understand what it is that they need, what they're looking for, helps you to select the right candidates. And then secondly, and I think this is an important thing with businesses. What you've done there is you've identified a concern of your target market. So they were concerned that people would get placed with them, you would get your fee, and then that person might leave for whatever reason, and it's cost them a lot of money, and they haven't got a candidate. So you've identified that concern and taken that concern away by offering a guarantee.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a really important thing for businesses to do, to identify those concerns of their clients and think, how can I alleviate those concerns? How can
I mean, it's a massive investment recruiting someone, not only the recruitment fee, but the training, the onboarding, the process of integrating them into the team is extremely expensive, and it takes months before necessarily someone might be delivering on their salary. So the way I work is that fixed cost of recruitment is a fixed cost. It's not going to have to be replaced and charged again within a period, having inputted a huge amount of effort into getting someone up to speed.
Yeah, I like it. And by the way, I do a similar thing with my clients as well, where I say to them, because say, look, if you don't get value out of my coaching, then I refund the difference. So if you don't get value, you tell me how much you think it's worth, and I'll refund the difference. Because the same as you, it should be an investment. If somebody's investing in you in recruiting somebody, then that's an investment. They should get a return on that investment. Likewise with me, if somebody's investing in me in coaching, they should get a return on that investment. If they don't, they get refunded. So
I guess another way that I differentiate, I mean, I've never sent a CV without interviewing a person.
Okay, right. Okay.
I mean, I think my last testimonial was very complimentary, but it talked about receiving CVs without any qualification, just blindly sending out CVs to an organisation in the vain hope that one, the candidate might want the job, and two, he might be the right candidate. I mean, it's just bonkers. It's a complete waste of time. I had someone actually who sent me a CV, and I said, look, I've got this CV. I quite like the look of them, but I really don't want to work for that company. And they worked in border security. They provided solutions mainly outside the UK for countries to put up, to the infrastructure, the IT, and the instruments, etc., to create border security. So I found this lady, and it's just like found this lady and contacted her. She said, "Well, I believe in a world without borders."
Yeah. Okay.
So though she had all the right skills, there was no way there was a fit there. I mean, it couldn't have been more different. And that just what a waste of time for everybody involved.
Yeah, absolutely. So you try and identify those things before putting the candidate forward. So
cultural fit and attitude and all those sort of things are massively important. As well as the obvious skill set. And getting to understand a business and its culture and really understand what they're looking for from that person before you even start looking for people is massive.
Yeah. In my opinion, Jeremy, those culture fits and attitude and approach and those things from a candidate are arguably more important than the technical skills. Now, I appreciate technical skills are required for some jobs. If you need to be a lawyer, you've got to have the legal sort of qualifications.
Sure.
But
I absolutely agree, and I think a key area where I work is ensuring that an organisation gets across its culture, what we call it an employer brand. And if they're not showing their employer brand through their website or their social media, then I need to draw it out of them. But two, I also encourage that, because most people applying for a role in this day and age are looking more than just a job description and a salary, and will go and do some investigative work about that organisation. And if they can't see that they celebrate success, if they can't see that they are integrated into their local community, or they can't see that the type of culture that business has, then they're suffering. And I have got businesses to add a page on their website about celebrating success, about welcoming staff, about talking about onboarding when new people join, and all about their corporate social responsibility. And then that's out there for the 80% of candidates that want to know about that type of part of a business. And also, I mean, and in terms of other areas, meet the team pages on a website, and it's just got the board and no one else. And you've got to, in terms of diversity, equity, and inclusion,
Jeremy,
you need to include more people.
With this, Jeremy, what are the top tips that you'd give somebody that was looking to recruit to the team members? You've mentioned a couple there in terms of making sure that it's out there in terms of their, the type of culture of the organisation and meet the team. What are your top tips that you would give to somebody looking to attract great employees?
Well, I think that's key, and there's a lot of it in terms of getting your culture across. Obviously, having the bottom line, a benefits and remuneration package that is competitive. I mean, you're not going to attract top talent without that. Working, the recruitment process that you're going to use is absolutely important. Are you going to make the recruitment process a pleasure for candidates? Are you going to get back to them quickly? Are you going to show that you understand who they are before you interview them, or while you're interviewing them? And most importantly, having the right recruitment in front of you, I guess. And it's almost 2/3 of the people I put up for interview didn't apply for the job. Mm-hmm. I have them on my TRB Talent pool, or my access to 20-30 million CVs out there on job boards, or obviously LinkedIn's another way, but that's so in terms of getting the right people and the right talent, 2/3 of the people that I put forward didn't apply for the role. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I found them and put them forward, and that, I think, when recruiting, people doing it themselves, they think, I can chuck an advert on one of the job boards and see what happens. Well, you're missing 2/3 of the best candidates by doing that, by not using someone like me who can go out there and find you the right people, rather than just sitting back and hoping you're going to get the right application.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. And I mean, I wrote down 3 things that you had there. We mentioned about culture. You mentioned competitive remuneration sort of package, and recruitment process. I think absolutely key, having that clear recruitment process that you follow. I mean, I often refer to this as a deselection process. Yeah. Because what generally happens when people look to recruit somebody is they get a bunch of candidates. They go through maybe interviews and having chats. They might get down to the last 2 or 3, and then they choose the best one out of that last 2 or 3. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that any of those last 2 or 3 were the right candidate.
No, absolutely not.
So I always look at it, if you go through your recruitment process and you've got nobody left at the end, well, that's great. Your recruitment process has worked. None of them were good enough for what you wanted for your business. So I think you're absolutely right. And I think I agree with you. You're absolutely right. Recruitment process. And then this point that you made, Jeremy, as well, and I read this recently, that, and I can't remember what the actual statistics are, but it was saying that it was a really high percentage of people that would actively move jobs, but they're not currently looking for a job.
Absolutely. And that's,
so, as you say, if you can identify who they are, then but they're not actively looking on the job boards and that.
No, I'd say 63% of my placements over the last 12 months or so didn't apply for the role.
Yeah.
So they've been proactively approached by myself.
Yeah. And why do you think that is? Why do you think that people are currently employed?
Yeah.
Would consider changing employment, but actually aren't doing anything about it at the moment? It's
to do it properly. I mean, I sometimes interview people that have quit their job to find a new job. It's not a full-time job to do it, but it does, to do it, for a candidate to go out there and find the right, or not a candidate, someone to go out there and find the right company, the right culture, the right job, the right location, and all those other things. It takes time. It does take time, and people don't like change. There's always that aspect of
Yeah.
that. And it's better the devil to a certain degree. There's always that aspect of it. So getting across the benefits of a role, of the company culture, of the future opportunities are really important. I put a blog out a week or two ago about in terms of that recruitment process, what are the key things that you need in terms of we've talked about them, but people need to understand what their growth opportunities are. Most people taking a job are looking at the next one at the same time.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. And I also look at the recruitment process as very similar to the sales process, in terms of you have to identify who your target market is. So same as you were saying with employees, you've got to identify the type of employee that you want. The second thing is you need to identify how best to reach out to those particular people. So if you were doing sales, it might be on social media or telemarketing or something like that. But what we're saying here is one of the ways to reaching out to your target market with recruitment is using somebody's services like yours. And then you have to make your business attractive so that people choose the employees, or the potential employees choose you over all of the other potential employers that they could choose. So you
absolutely
have the, and it's, as you were saying now, like growth opportunities, learning opportunities, a great working environment, all of those things that will help people.
And that flexible working environment is a really important one as well.
I like that. So I'm interested in your journey, Jeremy. So you set the business up,
4 years ago.
4 years ago. So what would you say the biggest challenge is that you've had in those first 4 years?
The biggest challenge is being brave enough, I think, and making bold decisions to grow the business, to differentiate myself and be a force of nature within the recruitment industry. I believe I am different to 95% of those recruitment agencies out there. The business model is an outbound cold calling business, almost recruitment. I don't do any outbound cold calling. My team don't. That's not so. I do not employ people to do that. I work on reputations, referrals. I do a bit of social media, but I'm not someone banging on doors. Or I see you advertising a role. Can I do it for you? That's just not. I differentiate myself by being the expert.
Yeah. Okay. And how do you communicate that? Because it's quite difficult, isn't it? It's one thing being differentiating yourself from competitors, but then the second thing is communicating that differentiation.
Yes. Social media, blogs, things like this. Talking to you. My team's quite proactive on LinkedIn, putting out posts, and we'll put out at least a blog a week aimed at both candidates and at organisations, in terms of seem to be the subject matter experts. I guess that's the best way of putting it, and differentiating us from an agency that's got a team of graduates on the phone saying, "Do you have any jobs up that you're looking to fill at the moment?"
Yeah. Okay. Great. And so you mentioned there that one of your biggest sort of challenges was sort of being bold enough, but what was your biggest learning over that sort of first
be bold.
Be bold. So
be bold and learn from your mistakes.
Okay.
Every mistake, don't regret it, but learn from it.
Yeah. Okay.
And we all make mistakes, particularly when setting out. And make sure that you learn from that mistake. Yeah. And I think that's my biggest learning. And also go for it. Go for it. I feared working for myself. It took COVID and Brexit for me to become start my own company.
Yeah.
That's how, too big and losing my job. So, that was why I started my own business, and I have absolutely no regrets. And I wish I'd done it many, many years before, because I think I add value to businesses now that I could have been doing for a long time.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah, you wish you'd done it before. And I find speaking to a number of people that is often the case. And it does take sometimes those triggers. And it links back to the question that asked about why are employees they would be there thinking, actually, I would like to move job, but they're not doing anything about it. And it's similar to what you were saying there. You'd like to have your own company, but not necessarily doing anything about it. And by the way, I was one of those people that you referred to earlier, that I had a career up in London, wanted to change, but wasn't changing because I was in my comfort zone. And I had to take myself out of that comfort zone, which was to literally go in the next day and resign. And then I had to do something different. I wouldn't recommend that for everyone, but that was the thing that I needed to do to take myself out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, the environment has to be right. To do that. Yes, you can't be worrying about finances, or if you do that, you need to be comfortable when you I've interviewed people who've done that, and they're living at home, still living at their home with their parents in their 30s, which so many people are doing now, and they don't have those huge outlays to worry about. You've got a mortgage and a family. I think it's a far braver mood.
It is, absolutely. So you went from being sort of an employee to a business owner.
Yeah.
Was there anything that you came across that you didn't expect being a business owner, that you hadn't realised that, oh, actually being a business owner involves this particular thing, or I need to have this particular characteristic, trait, skill?
Yes, I think being a business owner, you haven't got all the skills required to run a business. You need people, whether that be an accountant, or whether that be maybe a digital marketing agency, or maybe that I outsource CV searching to a certain degree to people. So you can focus your time on the big decisions, but to bring in those skills that you don't have yourself.
Okay. So you can't do everything yourself, and actually therefore surround yourself with good people that are good at those particular areas of the business. So
I've always been good at delegating, and when you start your own business, you have to have people to delegate to. And so bringing in the right sort of people that you have the confidence to delegate stuff to, so you can focus on the bigger picture, is incredibly important.
Yeah, great. Okay. Now, look, there's one question that I like to ask all the people that join me for this discussion, which is, what is the best advice that you would give to an 18-year-old you?
For goodness sake, grow up. I mean, honestly, if I look back at myself at 18, I didn't study properly. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I just treated life in the most casual way possible. I mean, in terms of education, obviously that's the key thing at that age. I just didn't take it seriously, and maybe I mean, it's just appalling how badly I was at school, and I went to Polytechnic, if anybody can remember what one of those are.
Yeah, I do.
I scraped through my A levels, but I had no idea what I wanted to do. And I think another thing is, it's really, gap years and things weren't really around when I was, they weren't as a common a thing. But I wish I had really spent time thinking about what I wanted to do, because I drifted for many years. I ended off going back to Barwick University in the age of 30 to do an MBA, which was huge thing for me. And I came out of that with a lot more business sense and a lot more, and I trebled my salary from going into it to coming out. I trebled my salary, which wasn't insubstantial when I went in. So, but I could have done that when I was 18 if I'd thought, if I'd gone and done the right, if I'd studied harder and I'd thought about what I really wanted to do. I think I would have not wasted maybe, well, how many years? 10 years perhaps.
Yeah, look, great advice, great advice. I like that. And it's interesting, isn't it, how we can look back on how we were, and
yeah, God, it's scary.
It's all part of our learning and our lives, isn't it? But Jeremy, look, I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today and sharing more about your business, but also about your journey as well. So thank you.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure.
Great.
Take care. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.